This is Gene Monteristel, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 409, originally aired August 27th, 2014, re-edited and remastered for December 2nd, 2019. Hi everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're listening to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. On the Tapping Q&A podcast, we answer the most common and uncommon questions about tapping and EFT so you get the most out of your tapping practice, eliminate self-sabotage, and take the action that you want. Today, we're going to talk about something that directly impacts that. When we are in a circumstance where we have a choice in front of us, typically us not taking action or not moving forward as quickly as we want falls into one of two camps. Either one, we spend way too much time trying to get something exactly perfect, subconsciously believing if it is perfect, it is going to be easier for me to be, or guarantees me being successful. Therefore, we keep refining and refining and refining, though consciously and intellectually we understand nothing will ever be perfect, but we don't take action because we're looking for that perfection. The other is when we're in a circumstance where we have multiple choices, we don't want to be in a circumstance where we make a choice where we're heading in the wrong direction, therefore avoiding spending a lot of time on something that is unuseful. And so when we don't know what to do, we don't take action at all. Therefore, we end up not choosing. And so today we're talking about what happens when we don't choose and how that is actually a choice. Now, one of the things that is rooted in a lot of not making good choices is a sense of perfectionism. And perfectionism shows up in one of two ways. Either we work way too hard on something, or we don't take action because it needs to be perfect before we take that action. So I have to make this perfect before I put it out in the world, or the world needs to be perfect and everything needs to be in place before I can take that action. And when you look at perfectionism through those two lenses, you quickly come to understand the fact that it's just a form of fear. Fear that something is going to go wrong. And so when perfectionism shows up, it's showing up in a way to protect you and to keep you safe. And so we can see what's happening is it's simply something that is over-functioning and making it too hard for us to do what we need to do. And so what I want to spend time with today is the piece of perfectionism where we need to have everything right, or we need to prepare everything perfectly before we take action. And oftentimes this is rooted in not wanting to take the wrong path. Because when we take the wrong path, it feels like not only is it a waste of time and energy in what I'm doing now, but then I have to reset myself and I have to find the new path. And so there's a part of us that holds on, that refuses to take action and refuses to move forward because it wants to make sure so desperately to make the right choice. And so it's doing that to keep us safe. And so we can intellectually appreciate what this perfectionism is motivated by, but intellectually we understand there's the problem that we're not moving anywhere and we're not getting any closer to our goals. It's keeping us safe, and it's also preventing us from having what we want. The other problem with this disposition that the system takes, which is preventing us from taking action, is it's misunderstanding what's happening around us. So I want you to imagine what is in front of you is a map, and there's roads that lay out in front of you, and there's forks in the roads, and every single one of those forks represents a choice that you could make. And each time you make a choice, it sends you in a different direction, and it limits your options, kind of like an old choose your own adventure book from our childhood. And so we don't take action because we're so afraid that we're going to walk down the wrong path and we're going to miss an opportunity and we're going to get lost in our way to our goal. And the problem is that isn't an accurate analogy because we're not sitting on a static map with options laid before us. What's really happening is as we stand still, options are moving towards us. So don't imagine standing on a map, but instead almost imagine standing at the edge of a stream with all of these things floating by. And the instant something floats by us, we now no longer have a choice to go after that. And so when we don't take action, not only are we not moving forward, but oftentimes we're missing things that are coming towards us and we're missing opportunities. And if we fall into the trap of having to have everything absolutely perfect before we act, oftentimes what happens is we miss the best possible opportunities because they've passed us by. And as I share that, you know what that's like. There's been lots of opportunities in your life where after the fact, you're like, oh, I wish I would have insert whatever that choice was. And so when we're responding to this perfectionism, what we need to do is we need to recognize not only are we preventing ourselves from moving forward, but we're also missing opportunities because they're passing us by. And so once we have that in mind, what I wanted to do was just spend a little time tapping to help you put yourself into a position and take some action. So I just want you to tap on the side of your hand, take a nice big deep breath. And as you move from tapping point to tapping point, just repeat after me. There's a part of me that is afraid that I am going to make the wrong choice, that I am going to go the wrong way, that I am going to waste time and energy, or I'm going to head in the wrong direction, making it impossible for me to get where I want to go. But the truth of the matter is, as long as I don't take action, I am missing opportunity. I am missing chances. When I don't take action, when I don't take choice, what I'm really doing is making a choice. I'm choosing to say no to the opportunity in front of me. I'm choosing to say the opportunity in front of me isn't right for me. I'm choosing to do nothing. And that is a choice. It is good there is a part of me trying to keep me safe. It is good there's a part of me that's trying to keep me on the right path. But it is working too hard, and it is keeping me from the things I need to be doing. I give myself permission to make choices and to take action, knowing that I can choose again, knowing I can learn from my choice, knowing my choices don't have to be perfect for me to end up the place I need to be. I give myself permission to make choices and make the choices that I am in control of. Because when I make no choice, I'm choosing to let opportunity pass me by. I now choose to be in control by consciously taking action. And take a nice big deep breath. Now, hopefully that will put you into position to making choice. The last thing that I think will be really helpful in understanding this is part of the reason that we don't make choice, or we're scared to make choice, is because it feels like each choice is a really big deal. And when you make very few choices, then that's true, because there's so much weight that's on each thing. If I wait to get it just perfect and then put myself out there and hope it works out, then it feels like an all or nothing proposition. But if I make 25 choices today, or 150 choices this week about the action I'm taking, then each and every single one of those actions has must-lets at stake, because there's so many more choices that are coming after it. And so it's not an all or nothing, but it's a 1/150th proposition, which feels like a much safer thing and an easier thing to do. So I hope that's a helpful way to think about the perfectionism that's holding you back and the fear that is underlying it. I hope you found that process useful and that little tapping instructive. If you would like to be able to tap along to this again and again, if you go to tappingpodcast.com and click on the link for episode 409, you will see how you can download a printable script of this tapping script so you can take it with you so you don't need to be listening to the audio. Or if you download the Tapping Q&A app, which is available both in the Android and iOS store, just search for Tapping Q&A. In addition to getting all of the audios from our entire archive, which is over 450 at this point, you also have access to written out versions of the script right in the app. So if you click on the tab that is labeled text, T-E-X-T, you will see all of the tapping scripts that we've been tapping along to currently. There's over 75 scripts in the app. So those are free scripts that you can take with you and tap along even without listening to the audio. Just go into your app store, search for Tapping Q&A. If you know someone in your life who could use an audio like this, please be our ambassador and pass it along. Don't spam your inbox and send it to every person in the world. But if you know someone who could use something like this, be our ambassador, pass it along. The easiest way people find content is from a recommendation of a friend, and I would appreciate if you did that. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you have a topic you'd like us to cover in the future, we're in the process of planning the spring right now and interviews and all of the goodness for the podcast. Let me know. Some of the best episodes we did this calendar year came from recommendations from readers and listeners just like you. I can always be reached, Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com, or click on the contact link on the website. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrastelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrastelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrastelli or Tapping Q&A.